Okay, here we go. I want to read the entire paragraph because you'll need to have a sense of the entire thing to see how this works. In the story Contents of a Dead Man's Pockets, Finney develops an internal conflict. An internal conflict is a conflict that the protagonist has to face within himself. One internal conflict he had to face was choosing whether or not to go to the movies with his wife or to stay home and work. He knew he would hurt his wife by staying home, but he also knew he had a lot of work to do, so he had to choose. Another internal conflict he faced was whether to go get the piece of paper on the ledge or stay inside. He knew going on the ledge was dangerous, but he had been working on that paper for a while now, and he didn't want to lose it. In order for me to wrap up all evidence, all details together to relate to the topic right there, what do I need to do for this paragraph? Amma? I'll give you a hint. It's written right there. You need a concluding sentence. Amma, what did you end on in this paragraph? Of one of them, right? So you have two details. You have detail one internal conflict there. Detail two, another internal conflict. You end on a detail. Here's how your format should run. You should have a topic sentence, detail, detail, conclusion. The fact that you ended on a detail and you didn't conclude with a concluding sentence means that the whole thing kind of falls apart because it ends with specific. It should end back with general, and that keeps it sort of glued together as one big whole. Does that make sense? Okay, so the loss point on integration comes from lack of a conclusion. I don't know. You got a couple choices. Can anybody suggest a choice for Amma for a concluding sentence here? I've got some ideas, but what do you guys want to do? Besides watch me mess with the smartboard. Aaron. Okay, so that would be a fairly simple one and pretty direct. Aaron, what's the strategy that you've used to construct that sentence? What did you think that you should do? Restate it, right? Right. There you go. Aaron's got one strategy that you should have learned at some point in some English class about how to conclude. Conclusion is often starting with restatement. So you restate the main idea. What Aaron has just done is rewrite the topic sentence. Okay, that's one way. That's probably the least exciting way, but at least it's a way to do it. I'm going to teach you strategies about how to make conclusions a little bit more interesting, but there's one way to go about it. So it's kind of like putting a cap on your paragraph by restating what's there in the beginning. Anybody have an idea for a better, more interesting conclusion statement than that? I'll get it. How about that? A little bit more interesting? Now, have I still talked about generally what the topic sentence says? Yeah, because it says Beneke faces internal conflicts. That's contained in that sentence. But there's an added little idea for interest, saying it makes him a real character because he's facing real struggles. Both of those are conclusions. At this point in your writing, I would accept both of those for the integration purpose. Later on, I'll expect you to write something a little bit more interesting than that, but I haven't really fully taught you how to do it yet. So either of those ideas work.